cobblestones. No broken promises, no busy tones. Just what it takes, just make believe. No one belongs.
It's a beautiful Thursday morning, August 15th. It's actually my dad's birthday, Leslie Jones.
Happy birthday. Your dad's birthday is the day before my mom's birthday.
Oh, really?
My mom's birthday is
Everyone's
tomorrow.
birthday is in August.
Yeah.
I went to the
I wonder
Hallmark
what was going
store.
on 9 months ago.
I went to the hall. Yeah, I heard that Thanksgiving weekend for many was like a raging time for
Makes
breeding.
sense.
So, my birthday's August birthdays. I've mentioned this before. Both grandsons, brother, niece, daughter-in-law, former sister-in-law, niece. Did I say niece?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Man, did y'all just do one big birthday?
Grandparents.
Jeez.
Grandparents were all in that period. Close friends, other relations. Everyone was in August. So, and then some people get married in August.
Yeah,
so.
My parents' wedding anniversary is also in August.
Is that really?
Yeah.
Wow.
My mom was like, get it all done.
Wow.
It was just my month.
Amazing. We're live from the Peterson Health Digital Studio this morning here at Pint and Plow Brewing Company. It's a glorious day. We had a lot of people come through here today.
You did. You have quite a few guests here right now.
Well, not even like the people who were the guests. It was like
a usual morning.
Ringo was here.
Yeah.
He was here bothering
I thought he was
people.
going to be on the show.
No,
he just came here to get coffee.
He came here to get coffee.
Start his day.
And take pictures. And then he was trying to recruit all those hobos out front that hang out here in the morning on Thursdays. I said, put those guys back to work. Clifton Pfeiffer, Stu.
I think they're allowed to be, to lean into their
I don't know. They should be back to
retired
work.
ways.
Yeah. Dan Roloff was
I like
here.
when I come in and those guys are all outside.
Tom was outside. Carolyn and
Clifton
Herring.
tried to give me a child.
Yeah. What's up with that?
And yeah. He didn't want to come, so it all worked out.
He didn't want to. He didn't give you a sucker. He thought.
No, he was going to give me like a whole 9-year-old.
Yeah. Perfect.
I was like, well, at least he dresses himself.
Don't forget to go to Ken Silva Ford for other service needs. They'll take care of you today at 830-257-5557. They're at Quick Lane. They're good to have. They're good folks over there. Good morning, everybody. Again, welcome to the show. It's Thursday. I got a call yesterday from somebody who was upset. And I try my best to help people when they're upset. And it's usually when they listen to Harley's show. I don't want to get too much into it at this point. But they said, is there anything you can do about Harley? I said, I've been trying to ignore that guy for the longest time. He's just really little. And I just tried my best to ignore him. But he's kind of a bully.
Yeah.
And I guess that people will think that I should bully him back. So... but he was. We have a political situation developing in this county. It is actually very complex if you really dig into the details of it. Ian Collum, who was the former county clerk, resigned because there are a certain number of people who are lunatics in this town who just are convinced that there are millions of illegal immigrants. If you talk to some people in this town, there's about 35,000 people that live here, and there's about 1.4 million illegal immigrants that live in Kirk County. That, if you talk to some people, and they're all voting. Harley Blue's one of those guys, and so they're looking for Ian Collum. And these folks, we've seen the public records. They made Ian Collum's life a living hell. They would show up, and if you don't know the whole story, he was the former county clerk. He was in charge of the elections. And the way this whole thing went down was that Rich Paces, who's our current Precinct 2 commissioner, just caused all sorts of mayhem last year with his insistence that we have hand counting in our county. And that led to Bob Reeves, who competently ran the elections for a number of years. And he just said he threw his hands up because Rich Paces brought in a guy. No offense to our Army friends here. Because we have a lot of Army guys here on the show today. I don't want to cross them. But Rich Paces brought this guy in who was allegedly an Army cybersecurity guy. He said that Kirk County was cheating in the elections, that the elections were stolen somehow.
Then how did they get elected?
I don't know.
I mean, like, I don't. It's a very brave thing to say.
I was raising my hand, and I was like,
doesn't that make it look like you've got to question how they got elected if you bring that up?
Yeah. Trump still got 78% of the vote. I mean, or 75% of the vote in Kerr County. It wasn't as big as he got in 2016 because.
Right. Well, I know that's like why they say it, but I think when you accuse anything of like election fraud, it goes all the way down to the bottom. Anyway, then you have to question everybody that's elected.
Liz, I know you haven't seen the movie The Other Guys, right?
No.
You need to watch it.
Okay.
You know what I'm talking about. Dalton, you know what I'm talking about, right?
The Other Guys.
I mean, that's a movie. It's got to be other. There's a scene in the movie where all the cops get into a fight at a funeral.
Delightful.
But they're whispering. It's like a whisper fight. Like they're it's like a little kid fight basically. And Michael Keaton is the captain. And he looks over. He's talking with all the brass. He looks over, and all these guys are fighting each other. He's, oh man, so stupid. That's how I imagine Bob Reeves. Bob Reeves is the cop is the captain in The Other Guys, who just wants to do his job and have his second job at Bed Bath & Beyond. That's all.
Can you imagine Bob Reeves at Bed Bath?
I can. That store would be Bed Bath. If Bob Reeves ran Bed Bath & Beyond, it would not be in trouble.
It would be impeccable.
It would be impeccable. So Bob Reeves just threw his hands up.
In fact, Bed Bath & Beyond, get in touch with Bob Reeves.
Yeah, Bob Reeves.
Let's turn this ship around.
Yeah, Bob Reeves just said enough is enough, and he said, you know what, Jackie Dowdy, here you go. This is your statutory requirement to run this. Jackie Dowdy's like, I'm not doing that extra work. The heck with this election stuff. She resigns. Ian Collum takes over, and he gets into the election. And from what I understand, folks, here's the deal. People were showing up at his office every day demanding documents. I've seen the document request. It's extensive. Not just documents, but thousands of pages. So Ian Collum resigns. So he won the Republican primary, and he's the nominee. Well, the Republicans want him off so they can appoint their own guy in here. And Ian hasn't done it yet and probably won't do it. And he'll probably resign and really they have the right person in the job. Right? They have Nadine Alford in that job. Okay? She's the right person for the job. But Helen Hurd, who's the Republican chair, wants to put in somebody who we all probably know, and that shouldn't happen. There shouldn't be a political appointee in there. It should be somebody who's competent and who knows the systems, knows the law, and doesn't be trained, and whatever. So, but Harley Ballou was out calling out Ian Collum. You know where this guy lives?
Well, they're alleging that he's missing.
Yeah, he's missing in action. He's like, no, he's not responding to your nonsense. That's what it is. So we got into this whole thing yesterday, and I wrote about it today in the newsletter. And it's unfortunate that we have to have these conversations, but there's a level of bullying here politically that is just ridiculous. And so then I get the call like, well, Lewis, can you go down there and enforce some order down there? And look, Ian, just ignore Harley. He's really small, and he's got a big mustache. He's easy to avoid. You see him because his mustache is so big it knocks people over. But just avoid him. Stay down low, and everything will be okay. So everything will be fine. I also wrote about We the People Liberty in Action today and how weird they are. I mean, you think about this. They sent out a mailer or an email, Leslie, that said, I have two Leslies here. I have Leslie North.
I know.
And I have Leslie Jones.
I'm never. Full disclosure, it wasn't until my adult life I met more Leslies. Yeah. And now I'm like, and I'm around places and I hear, and I always think everyone's talking to me, and they're not anymore. And that's very weird for me.
Have you ever known any man Leslies?
Yes. They usually like to go by Les. I've noticed the man Leslies.
Right. Unless you're Leslie Nielsen.
I think he likes going by Leslie.
Yeah. Anyway, we wrote about them today as well. Enough of this political crap. We got too much going on today. And Wendy Jones is here, and she's delightful. Wendy Jones from your command bunker in West Kerrville. You have Army people here today. Do you have any Army advice for us today?
Oh, gosh, Army advice.
Yes.
I have advice for people that go into the Army that are going to boot camp is to work out before that.
Okay.
That's solid advice.
Yeah, they probably...
Don't show up at boot camp
look
without
at these.
Good to be prepared.
Look at these two guys. I mean, look at them. They're strapping. I mean, look at them. So, is Army... Okay, Now, General Oates is here. Is Army basic training the same for enlisted guys as it is for the officers? Like the workout, the running and stuff, is it all the same?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's a set of standards for everybody who comes in the Army, regardless of where you go.
Right. What about you? What about you, Dalton? What was the toughest thing about basic training for you?
Nothing.
Nothing.
He said, I worked out before.
I did. Yeah. I mean, basic training is just the beginning stages.
Yeah.
It can be mentally challenging for folks. Probably say less, probably physically challenging. But I mean, I wanted to go in since I was 16.
Yeah.
So
you were prepared.
So you already knew.
You were ready. You were ready.
Yeah.
You were ready. You were ready to go run. So not that big of a deal. I didn't realize that when the Navy, they make you all wear the same like running shoes. It's like they have a deal with New Balance, and so when they hand you running shoes, when I took my kid up to boot camp, like I bought him nice running shoes. I thought, oh, you're gonna have some running shoes. Nope.
They did
They're
that
like
in the Army too.
government issued.
There's a good reason for it.
Yeah.
When they first started, when we left running in boots, and basic training, we used to run in boots.
Yeah.
When they went to tennis shoes, which makes a lot of sense,
Probably a little bit more comfortable.
they had kids show up wearing like shower shoes.
Yep.
Oh wow.
I'm not kidding.
Oh wow.
Or running shoes that just weren't conducive to
Right.
running.
They
Yeah.
weren't really.
So all the services decided we just need to get you standardized.
Standardized. Makes
yeah.
sense.
Well, your feet are important,
Yeah.
especially in the service.
Right. And that Wendy, I'm sorry, we've gone off the rails here as usual. What's going on? Give us some details, Wendy.
All right, I want to talk a little bit this morning about energy levels because, do you know, Lewis, I think this is probably real specific to you too,
Okay.
but also a lot of people. But you know how sometimes like you feel so tired and just fatigued all the time that the thought of going to the gym or going to the trail or doing anything physical, you're just like, I can't do it. I don't have enough energy, right?
Right.
That's super common because especially, with sedentary people, you're sitting all day and somehow that's exhausting and you just don't have the energy to go do anything else. So I want to encourage people who are tired, who are fatigued, which I feel like is just about everybody, to do it anyway because I'm going to give you a good example. Remember how step aerobics used to be all the rage
Yeah.
all the 90s? So I was the 5:30 step aerobics instructor at a big gym. And I would watch these people drag themselves into that room to do a step aerobic class at 5:30 after work. Their parents, they have jobs. I would watch these people come in exhausted. And then the music comes on, the vibe starts, the workout starts. And what happens is the body starts to release endorphins, which are our natural feel-good chemicals. These are the chemicals that reduce stress, improve your mood, and guess what? Give you energy.
Nice.
So for most people, it's just a matter of dragging your tired butt through the door. And if you'll just do that part, even if it's a short 15-minute walk, 15-minute weights, doesn't have to be an hour, but just something to let those endorphins release in your body. And you know what people used to always tell me on the step aerobic class? They would come work out for an hour, and instead of going straight home and laying on the couch and watching TV until bedtime, they did the laundry, they cooked dinner, they gave the kids a bath. They were a lot more present in their life because they had taken that time to go work out and get a little bit of energy before they went home. So, and then another part too is when you work out, you tend to hydrate. You want to drink water when you work out, and hydration also helps with energy. So I just want to encourage people, even tired, just do something physical and get those endorphins in your body, and you'll feel so much better. When you increase your blood flow and your oxygen, everything changes.
Yeah.
Everything.
Right. Absolutely. And that's something that I got up this morning at 6:30 and I was like, I don't like that time.
So
Yeah.
that's another thing. Some people have to work out in the morning. Some people have to work out at night. I think everybody has to find their ideal time. If I work out too late in the day, I'm going to be up all night because of the energy.
Yeah.
So
I
everybody has to experiment and find the best time.
there's really, the morning is just really very nasty, for me. It's just one of those things. Oh, Randall's
coming in to sneak coffee.
Randall's coming in. Yeah, thanks,
Good for you, Randall.
All right, so I get you. The energy levels. I need more energy.
So what did you do after you woke up at 6:30? Did you do anything about
I
that?
laid there for I evaluated my life for several
I like that
minutes.
you're at least honest with Wendy. You're like, you didn't lie.
Everybody, the first thing in the morning, people wake up and they grab that phone and they start scrolling.
I did some of that.
People will waste so much time.
Oh my God. Well,
First thing in the morning.
yeah. I mean, there's different levels of terror in the morning. If you look at the Facebook reels, terrifying.
Oh.
If you look at,
is that yours? Mine's email.
If you look
That's
at
what I
YouTube,
avoid first thing in the
YouTube
morning.
Shorts, terrifying. If you look at Instagram reels, hilarious. So I don't do TikTok, so I don't know.
Yeah, I
but,
know.
You know, it's one of those.
That's why you wait for him to show up on Instagram.
I
Reels.
did. I have to get courage in the morning because I'm on this diet thing now to get up to do all the diabetic things. So, you know, like poke my finger, which doesn't really hurt, but it's just annoying, you know. And then I got to put my glasses on and figure it out. You know, there's the little things in the world. Get the courage.
Part of your diabetic regimen needs to be exercise.
I know.
You're
I run.
Like I hear it every morning.
God,
important part.
the most begrudged diabetic.
Leslie North and General Oates are looking at me like, yeah, Lewis, pull it together. So, all right. What are you gonna do this weekend? Anything? Got a concert to go to? What are you gonna do?
I'm going to go to Schlitterbahn tomorrow, believe it or not.
Oh, nice.
Schlitterbahn
That'd be
is one
fun.
of my favorite places in the whole wide world, and so I always wait for most of the schools to start.
That's
and
smart.
Then I go spend a day on the slides, and I act like a little kid, and I love it.
I love water slides.
I just love a lazy river.
I love a lazy river too.
God,
Me too.
Especially
live in one of those.
Especially a kid-free
a
lazy
kid-free lazy
Yeah.
river is heaven.
Yeah. Right. All right, Wendy. Good to see you as always. It's always
Y'all
good.
too.
We'll talk to you later. All right.
Okay.
All right. Wendy Jones joins us here Mondays, or was it Tuesdays and Thursdays on the lead, and she's always welcome to join us. So we appreciate her very much. Thanks, Wendy. All right. I had a point I was going to make. Now it's totally lost. General Oates is here, and Leslie North is here. They have a big event coming up on 9/11. It is going to be at 5 o'clock in the evening over at the Schreiner University, and they are here to discuss this event. How are you both doing this morning?
Well, thanks.
Leslie, how are you doing?
Doing great. I'm being real quiet for you, Lewis.
Don't be quiet, Leslie. We need more of you talking. This isn't necessarily a Together Hill Country Veterans event. This is a little bit more, right?
It's really a coordination with the city and the county.
Yeah.
It's a community event.
Yeah. Tell us about the event.
So everybody over the age of 25 knows where they were at on 9/11. But we've kind of lost track of that event over the years. And so we're seeking to bring community awareness back to actually what happened on 9/11, losing almost 3,000 of our citizens in an attack. And then honoring the 20 years that followed, the veterans, 7,000 killed over the next 20 years, fighting an away game, making sure that the terrorists didn't come back to our country. And so we've got a little event. If you're looking to do a little physical training, Lewis, that's not in the morning, you
Yes.
can come over and walk a very short distance,
Yes.
1.7 miles, or stay right at the trailhead and eat and drink cold beer. But
And walk to the bar and back to your seat.
yeah.
That could be a good walk, though.
Yeah, it can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And along the way, we've got some posters that have faces of some of the soldiers and Marines, sailors, and airmen that we lost. This is an example of one from 2006 where we lost 919. But you'll see we've got Sergeant Amanda Pinson, lost in Iraq, and Sergeant First Class Chad Gonzalez, Green Beret, who was lost in Afghanistan. So it's a great picture of their faces. Bring a face to this sacrifice. There'll be 20 of
Yeah.
those along the way.
That's beautiful. It's
Yeah.
a beautiful way to honor them.
Three of which are from Kerrville.
Yeah,
You
right.
see their pictures as well.
Right. Dalton, are you going to be there for that event?
Probably.
Yeah. What does that mean for you, too? I mean, you served.
I mean, everybody serves for different reasons. I went in to go overseas.
Yeah.
I got out because we weren't going overseas enough at that point.
Yeah.
Things were kind of dying down. Politics takes over. But yeah, no, it's
Did you serve? Did you go in for 9/11? You were in that period, right? You were in for 13 years. Is that right?
Yeah, I went in after 9/11.
9/11. Yeah, but
So I went in 2003.
2003.
So I was in Operation Iraqi Freedom 3 in 2005.
We were in high school when I was a senior.
I was in the principal's office.
Really?
Shocker.
Whoa.
Yeah. Nobody would believe that, but yeah.
Where were you, General Oates?
I was at Fort Campbell, Kentucky,
Okay.
with the 101st Airborne.
Okay. Were you a general at the time, or were you
I was a colonel.
a colonel at the time? Leslie, where were you?
I had been retired 10 years from the military
Military.
already. I was working for a telemarketing company.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right.
So we all wanted to go back in immediately.
Yeah, of course.
Just a bunch of Rangers and just tired old military people who've been retired a while. Thought
Yeah.
we should go back in right away.
Right away. Right. Did you guys go that day, or what happened for you guys that day? What was your position?
I was a chief of staff of the division at the time, and actually commanded 1st Brigade, and
Yeah.
moved to be the chief. Really, we were trying to get our own base secure, figure out what was going on, and then very rapidly transitioned to send a brigade to Afghanistan.
Right.
Started planning that immediately, and we're the first unit into Afghanistan. So
Wow.
Iraq came, as you know, 2 years later.
Right.
But,
Right.
you know, one of the really interesting human interest stories about what happens after 9/11 is the number of people that actually join the military, and some of them as old as 40 years old,
Yeah.
a bunch of them in their 20s. Amanda Pinson, who I showed you, who was killed in 2006 in our division, was a really unique story. I mentioned her at Memorial Day 2 years ago, but she had the whole world in front of her. She was a tremendous student and had all kinds of opportunities, and decides to join the Army to come serve, and serve with distinction as an intelligence analyst. Lost her life over there. And we saw thousands of these kids. They're all kids to me, coming in right after 9/11 to serve their country. A tremendous
Right.
view of patriotism. And, you know, part of what we're trying to do with this 9/11 commemorative walk is, it's one thing, at least in a political year, we can all get our arms around as an America.
Yeah.
It's the last time I remember when we all got together.
Yeah.
It was 9/11, and
Yeah.
it's been 23 years.
I always tell the story that I was trying to get a 3-year-old out the door. Allison was she
Yeah.
turned 4 on the next day, on the September 12th, and I didn't have TV at the time. We just had nonstop videos. We just didn't have TV. So my mom calls me, and I'm like, I'm trying to get out the door with this kid, and mom calls, oh my God, you need to turn, so I go to work, and of course, in our fire department, I'll never forget this. Our newspaper office was across the street from the fire department, and because it's California, you have really advanced technical search and rescue teams, and they were all going. They went that day. There was about, I think, 4 of them that went that day. They were part of a strike team that went. They had all their stuff out, getting it ready to go, and then this truck comes up, picks them up, and then boom, they were out. Yeah. And then the other part too is that where I lived in California was the east-west corridor, for LAX and all the airport. Not a plane in the sky.
Yeah.
It was the quietest night I could ever possibly remember. So we all remember that day, and I don't think there's anything more stunning than when I went to New York for the first time. It wasn't necessarily the first thing I did, but it was maybe the second thing I did, was to go to the 9/11 memorial. And it just you can't imagine the scale of it, So, and also the fact that New York is huge, but also much smaller, much more intimate. And so you just know how that must have affected everybody in that lower side of the battery down there. But yeah, so you two were in high school, weren't you?
Yeah, I was a senior.
Yeah.
I was coming back. I took dual credit courses, and I actually had a government class that morning at the junior college. And then I was on my way back to class to make first period. And I was put on the radio, and I realized it was news on every radio, because I was used to, whatever. And then finally, because I was like, wow, because you're just like, I'm just looking for, the top 40, and then I finally listened, and then it was like the sinking feeling, and it was in that weird feeling, because it was before cell phone, if the cell phone, hardly anyone had a cell phone when I was in high school, and it was that sinking feeling where you realize this really big thing is happening, and not everybody knows yet, it's all sinking in. And so, I remember getting up and, when I got to the parking lot, my other friends, I said something and they didn't know. We went to the front desk and we were like, can you tell us what's happening? And they finally put on, that's when we had Channel 1. That was like, do you remember Channel 1?
Oh yeah.
And then they put Channel 1 on all that, and then we all watched.
Yeah.
And it was like the longest day. I remember it feeling like the longest day.
Yeah.
I mean, especially in high school too. You know, people are still figuring themselves out. It created a lot of cultural controversy. I mean, we had a lot of different cultures in our high school in Houston.
Right.
And it created a lot of division almost immediately. I mean, you
Yeah.
saw it that day.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, so it was unique to experience
Yeah.
that. And then as, of course, you know, getting out, I couldn't get into the military fast enough. But yeah, and I think I went in 2003.
Yeah. Yeah. It was an interesting time for sure. I mean, just the talk. I remember going to high school and talking to kids about it, and it was
scary. It was the first time that you felt. It's like when you realize, I think, as you grow up, that you realize like your parents are people.
Yeah.
You know, like they're human. Because
Yeah.
you put them on this pedestal because they've been your caretakers for life. That was what it felt. It was that same when you realize how delicate everything was.
Well, it introduced vulnerability
Yes.
to the United States.
Yes, that's what it was.
And the consequences of that attack are significant. I mean,
Yeah.
when you travel, everything you think about.
It changed everything.
The fact that somebody could come into our country and attack us, I think shocked all Americans.
Right. And the shack to do it in such a way that it was just, I mean, it was stunning. Very, very stunning.
Right, because then it wasn't the towers, and it was the Pentagon,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then it was the third plane.
Pennsylvania plane. The
Thank
White
God.
House plane.
Yeah, and thank God the Patriots on board took that thing down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Back when we used to refer to Patriots as people that were serving their country.
Right.
In that regards.
Right. Yeah, those guys weren't messing around when they took that.
That made me tear up.
Yeah.
United 93. Right. You know, and you also think too about all the. I had a friend who flew regularly on the flight 11 because he was traveling a lot of times between Boston and Los Angeles, and he's like, I flew in that flight probably 25 times, you know, and that was the one that went in first. Betty Ono, who was one of the flight attendants, was from Bakersfield. So I mean, you're right. It changed things immediately. I remember going to the airport. Just 2 or 3 weeks after that happened, and what a surreal sight, you know. What a surreal, and even today, like when you go to New York, if you're in Times Square, it's just a very different feel, you know. I mean, the militarization is very, very different. So,
But we're hoping to regenerate awareness of this thing by honoring the people that gave their lives. And I think it's a great opportunity for the community to come out. It's not a strenuous exercise in a short period of time. So.
Right. And for us diabetics out there, it's a good time to do it.
It's a good time to get some exercise in.
Reset. Yeah, I mean, I think we should have some teams out there. Team city, some cities. The team.
You gonna join the team?
I want to join the team.
Yeah.
We should have a team Dalton. You can be part of it as well. Team General Oates. Team Together with Hill Country Veterans. We can have some. We could have Sarah Kasarek over the Hill Country Veterans Center run one as well. Just kind of walking together and showing your support.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I have my U.S. flag I could bring with me. Yeah, the one I got from Gunny's Warriors. That'd be fun to have.
You should have that.
Yeah. So, because a lot of people, you know, it's funny. Like some people are like now they're like, you feel weird about flying the U.S. flag. I've never felt weird about it at all.
Yeah.
You know, I love it. I love seeing that flag. So it's very, very important for me as well. All right, so the event is on 9/11. What day is 9/11 this year? Is it
Every year it's September 11th.
Well, I know.
It's a Wednesday. So people ask me, what day is Christmas?
Yeah.
You know, it's Christmas. No.
Christmas, yeah.
September 11th is a Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Wednesday evening at 5 o'clock, come on out.
You're right after work.
Absolutely. Show your
Yeah,
support.
that's amazing.
And Schreiner has been amazing.
Oh, yeah.
They're
Oh, yeah.
just wonderfully helpful. It's a nice walk if you've never walked the path all the way around the
It's a
campus.
great
Yeah.
walk actually.
It's
Yeah.
actually a pretty good
Yeah,
walk. It's
yeah.
not very far. Beer garden to beer garden.
Perfect.
Yeah, let's get there. Let's give
perfect.
people we can get there for.
Yeah.
Thank
Thanks,
you guys.
Lewis. Appreciate it very
Appreciate
much.
it for being
Yes,
here
thank
as
you
well.
thank you for putting this together.
Yeah. Thanks, Dalton.
You brought me a
of
hat,
course.
by the way. I'm going to say this too. I don't feel like I should wear this hat, but this is such a beautiful hat. And I was just thinking about this too. I didn't get a chance to ask you this question though. I'm going to ask you real quick. Did you because Band of Brothers came out in 2001.
Yeah, so did Saving Private Ryan.
Yeah.
Both of them associated with the 101st.
Yeah.
Probably the most storied division in the United States.
Right.
They served the longest in Vietnam.
Yeah.
They most deployed during Iraqi freedom and enduring freedom.
Yeah.
Recognized around the world, especially in Europe, because they did the defense of Bastogne,
Yeah.
jumped into Normandy,
Right.
Market Garden. So you should wear that with pride.
Right,
It's a
yeah.
way. It's also the American eagle, the symbol of
Yeah.
our country.
Right.
So I think it's a tremendous thing to wear in support of the U.S. Army and the 101st Airborne Division.
What's really interesting, if you were a fan of the series Band of Brothers, which is a brilliantly done series from the book by Stephen Ambrose, if you watch the videos of the guys who played the characters and the absolute reverence they had for the veterans they played, and then they went back 20 years, and most of the guys had passed, but they went back to France. They went back and they talked about it, and there's a few of them that go around the country and talk about how important it was and how it changed their lives to be a part of that series.
You know, if you wear that hat in Belgium, you can't buy your own beer. And,
Yeah,
and
really.
the fact is, the people in Belgium, all the way down to the very youngest,
Yeah.
they maintain all the cemeteries where U.S. soldiers are
Yeah.
buried there. They absolutely understand their freedom was bought by that division in the U.S. military.
Do you know what I found out last year, by the way, just as an aside here, and let you guys go here, but my great uncle is buried in Luxembourg, in the same cemetery that Patton's buried at, which is a point of contention for my grandmother. But we were going to do a wreath for him. He was killed at the end of the Battle of the Bulge, and there's not enough volunteers left to lay wreaths in some of those European cemeteries. So I don't know how we resolved that issue, but it was because there was we always do that beautiful wreath laying here that's so awesome at our national cemetery here, but in those big European ones, they don't have enough volunteers. The volunteers are too old, or we don't have that anymore. So something we've got to think about down the road here for us. So thank you, and thank you for putting up with my shenanigans this morning. I appreciate it very much. So again, get there, September 11th. That's a Wednesday, folks. It's always September 11th, but it's a Wednesday this year. And 5 o'clock over at Schreiner University. Get there a little bit early, and it starts at Trailhead, right?
Right.
And goes around the
And ends at
university.
Trailhead.
And ends at Trailhead. So we'll be there. We'll be there.
Thanks, Liz.
Looking forward to it.
Thank you.
Thank y'all.
Thank you both
Thank
for
you.
being here. We'll see you guys
Thanks,
again real
Dalton.
soon.
Yes, sir.
Dalton Rice, I was telling you earlier that you got through. Well, first off, you got the lawn mowed. Congratulations.
I didn't do that.
Yeah.
We did not do that.
Yes. Thank you for getting the lawn mowed.
But we'll take credit for it.
You do have a quorum in the comments.
Yeah,
on
you
up.
do technically have a quorum going on in the comments.
Isaac, come on over too. Okay, you sit right here. What? I don't know who you are.
Yesenia.
Yesenia. Come over, Yesenia. Oh, I love that name. I love
Yesenia
it.
is lovely.
Yeah, Isaac Dingler's here. He's not going to talk about birds, though. So he's going to talk about motorcycle racing. Come closer, Yesenia.
It's our podcast debut.
How do you feel about that?
A little nervous.
You're going to do
You're
great.
gonna do great, yes. Kent McKinney, I thought, brought up the most novel concept. I thought he brought up the most candid discussion yet about taxes that we've seen. Actually, I think it was a very brave conversation. Here's the thing on taxes, right? We can all complain about it all we want. And we have groups that's all they complain about. Their taxes suck. I don't want to pay taxes. And you can also get the other way that taxes are also a patriotic, duty. Because they pay for things that make our lives more sustainable and better, and keep us grounded and rooted in our democracy. Kent McKinney, I thought, had the brave idea that, look, taxes, we have some structural problems. And I know that these are things that you probably think about quite a bit. And he brought them up, which was, and correct me if I'm wrong, if I'm not explaining this correctly, this is why I have experts on the show. His idea was that because we have 30% of the taxes are frozen due to the age restriction, the 65 and older tax freeze on property taxes, that there's sort of a structural imbalance that exists. And that you could tax up to 3% more. Basically, he was saying we should tax at the voter approved rate, which is
3.5%.
3.5%.
Above the no new revenue rate.
Above the no new revenue rate, which is locked in, which would be like 56 cents per.
The voter approval rate would have been 56 cents.
56 cents.
56.46.
Right.
To be exact.
The council fell at 55.95, I think was where it was at, which is the same as last year. You could make the argument, and I'm sure that there are certain gadflies out there would say, "Oh, you're raising our taxes because our assessed values went up." But I thought what he brought up was a very interesting point, that if you didn't take advantage of that 3% over the no new revenue rate, that you're essentially leaving money on the table. And that we should be, because that's going to create unintended consequences down the road here. He was looking long term with this. There wasn't necessarily the political will among his colleagues on the city council, but I thought it was an incredibly brave conversation to have.
City councils, they have to make a lot of difficult decisions, a lot of tough decisions. Some obviously are not always going to be right, some are not always going to be wrong or received well. During the workshop, and unfortunately, Councilmember McKinney was not able to be there for that one.
Yeah.
We had talked a lot about the facts. What are the facts on the table?
Right.
The frozen tax rates, we could bring up, that's just one variable in all of it.
Yeah.
This year we spent a lot of time with the theme of Beyond Tomorrow, of how do we prepare for the future.
Yeah.
And so we wanted to just lay everything onto the table and get the council's feedback, because council ultimately sets that policy and they set the budget.
Yeah.
And so we try to present the information in a way that they can decide and determine what it is. And once they make that decision, we continue to do it. And so a lot of council's views on this, with leaving the tax rate at 5.595 and looking at it from an analytical side, which again, Councilmember McKinney does. He looks at it from the objective financial, piece of it. The appraisals have shifted over the years. 2016 to 2019, they were only 20% increase. And then from 2020 to 2024, it was about a over 45% increase over time. And so we're starting to see that stabilization of that. No city has really got to experience what a true 3.5% property tax rate is going to be, because in the previous years, we could just take 1% increase and get the same amount that we would have gotten in we'll call it a normal appraisal year.
Yeah.
Instead of the 3.5%. So we're in some uncharted territory right now, and council, analytically looked at that, and they said, let's make sure we can confirm what the appraisals are going to do. We're coming out of some globally challenged, issues, and these, economics are changing, and let's not put it on. But I think for the taxpayer, for our constituents, from the no new revenue rate to the current tax rate, 5.595, or what council adopted or approved, it's on a $350,000 home, it's $56 a year.
Yeah.
To that homeowner. And yes, that's, to some that could be, a lot of money potentially.
Yeah.
But what you get, as a homeowner for that $6, a month, is the amenities, is free events, is, the pool being $1. There's a lot of, the public safety component, the library, but you also are getting public safety, you're getting police and fire, you're getting EMS, you're getting, so there's so much that you're buying into as an investment by doing this, that we're able to maintain those services that our community wants and needs.
And that's, and it was probably, the tone of the city council has changed so much since the election. I mean, I'm just amazed at it, quite frankly. The tone is more relaxed. Well, it's more thoughtful. It's more regular than argumentative. It's much more thoughtful. And that was probably one of the more thoughtful conversations that I've seen in a long time. So, and I wish there would have been a little bit more of a conversation, out of it. But I thought Kent McKinney did something that I think was very, very brave, because the reality of it is that you have people in the community who will just say, you should just cut. Well, what are you going to cut?
Yeah.
That's sort of, that tool is going to come in really handy down the road.
It is. Because
if you cut the crap out of everything, you can see it.
We did. I mean, we made a lot of, our directors made a lot of tough decisions, in keeping relatively flat
Yeah.
budget. Personnel and benefits and salaries were most of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, if we have to start looking at cutting things, it's going to be the events. It's going to be
Right.
having to add fees onto other things. I mean,
Right.
it's not an easy thing.
Right.
And the last thing you want to cut is personnel. But,
Right.
you know, a great example of the no new revenue rate, because of our 25% debt service to maintenance and operations, if we went to the no new revenue rate, we would have to cut, I think it was $350,000 out of the general fund and move debt service from INS into M&O, because we have to, by charter, only be 25%.
Right. Right.
And so you start getting really challenged, and at that point, you're making some tough calls. And
Absolutely.
So yeah, council had to make some very tough decisions, but we do feel that we gave them all the information, the good, the bad, and the ugly, to make that decision. I think we may talk with council, maybe come January, on having like a workshop on better understanding what the tax rate is.
Yeah.
You know, having some more community forum outside of when we're having to do it for the budget. Talk about these things in the off season.
Is it good that you're in a situation now where you speak less than 5 minutes in a meeting?
It is very different. It took some getting used to.
Yeah.
It took some it took some getting used to.
I mean, you're basically, these meetings kind of humble. I mean, a Herring has packaged together the largest consent agenda items I've ever seen in any public meeting.
There's a lot of cities that that are run very smooth, that do kind of pack it into the consent agenda when they can, for routine stuff, and some of them could be seen as not routine, but we're continuously working on making the agenda efficient.
Right.
And again, we know that people can pull that stuff out, and so we expect that if somebody wants to comment or pull an item out, to have that conversation.
Yeah. Who's your guest today?
So our guest is
Yesenia.
Yesenia.
Yeah.
And she is our court administrator.
Oh, very good.
And so
she plays a very important role.
She plays a very important role.
I skipped the juvenile court thing I was busy on Tuesday, so I apologize. That was your presentation, wasn't it? It was. Yes. I skipped it, and I thought, because I had to go to volleyball, the girls' volleyball game.
Don't tell me. Tell Yesenia.
Yeah. What was that? Was that what we're talking about? Tell us about what that was about.
So Teen Court is a new program that the court is putting into place, where teens that come through our court will have the option to take the teen court route, which will be teen attorneys. So the prosecution and the defense will be teen attorneys. The jurors will be teen attorneys.
Oh, nice.
As well.
It's mock trial.
I like it.
Very cool.
I like it.
Yeah, we're excited to get this.
I got an early candidate for teen court, by the way. Let me show this picture to everybody; they can see it. Let me see here. So this is something to teach teens, like about. It's kind of like
how the judicial system
how
works.
It works.
How court works.
Are you going to slap any handcuffs on them or anything like that? I mean,
no, this is court. No. They're not police officers.
Yeah. All right. Look at this. Look at this. This guy's still a mini bike right here.
I like that you put him right next to him too.
Yeah. And how do we
That's a cool mini bike though.
Yeah, how do we solve this guy's problems? I mean, can we make that work? Look at him. So
his problems are unsolvable.
Wait, is Isaac in mock trial, or is it the court case around his motorbike?
Yeah, it's around his motorbike.
Oh.
That'd be the case. So
You can catch me. You can take me to court.
Take you to court.
Yeah.
How did you come up with this idea?
So the state mandated for municipal courts to have a diversion policy in place, and so that is the program that we selected.
Okay. So the diversion is now. Will you give them like money and stuff? Like, here's the money you have to spend on things. Here's what your court costs are going to cost you.
No, they will be paying a fee, and the good thing about it is that the jurors will be deciding punishment. They won't be deciding guilt or innocence.
Okay.
And so, there are certain requirements that they'll have to complete in order to successfully complete the diversion, the teen court program.
Teen court program. Okay. So this is So tell us a little bit about like when does this start? When do you put this together?
So our first teen court session will be in October.
Okay.
The third Tuesday of October is what we're looking at.
Okay. And so it's kind of like a mock trial thing, or
Kind of, but it is real court.
Real court, yeah.
These are real.
Yeah, you're putting them in the situation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
I think that helps because it gives the gravitas that court is like.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Absolutely. And we're excited to get this program. We went over to Tybee and spoke to some students
Right.
at the high school, and we had a training session for them at
Yeah.
the end of July, and so that was a great success. We had 17 students appear.
Oh, that's
and that
great.
are interested in
Okay.
the program.
Okay.
So,
How do
yeah.
they sign up if like they hear about it today and are
Yeah.
interested?
Yeah, they can call the court, just our number, 830-257-2388, and they can ask for me, and, we can get them an application. So,
Nice.
we're still taking students, anyone who's interested.
Nice. Is there a cutoff since you're planning a certain date in October?
No, they can come in, we'll be holding training sessions, throughout the year, maybe one or two
Yeah.
to kind of bring them in and
did you get
Yeah.
Judge Pearson's granddaughter involved? Lulu, was that her name? Lulu? You know what I'm talking about.
I do
Heather
know
Stebbins'
anything.
daughter.
Yeah.
No, I do know of Lulu. It is not Lulu, but she does have a granddaughter that's
Yeah.
involved.
Right. Oh.
Yeah.
Because like Heather has like 45 daughters.
And they're all going to be lawyers.
They're all no, they're like
And then they're going to get them into a judge and they're just going to trade off.
They're mandated by it. Who plays the judge? Who's the judge?
The judge will be Judge
The
Pearson.
Judge Pearson.
She will be
Oh.
overseeing all
Yeah.
of it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very cool.
You know what I would do?
I cannot wait.
I would bring that guy from the federal court over here.
Okay.
The Judge Xavier Rodriguez
All right.
from San Antonio. Have you ever seen? Well, never mind. I'm not going to ask you that question. I'm just going to say that guy made a grown man cry. So
I don't know if you want that for high school students.
I think it's appropriate.
Builds character.
Yeah, like that's like the next level. That's
Yeah.
like the next level boss for
I've never
them.
seen it like that.
That's
I've
if they continue the program.
Yeah. There were certain judges, like there was a judge in our town growing up, and he was like kind of had a reputation of being terrifying. And then I see him later in life; he's actually a sweet old man,
Yeah.
But there are some judges out there that would be difficult. So, but how is she excited about this program, Judge
She
Pearson?
is. She is.
Yeah.
We've been working, together.
Was it
And
your idea or her idea?
It was all of ours,
Oh, okay.
actually.
Yeah.
Because we had to come up with a diversion
You
plan.
had to come up with a plan, right?
That, we kind of got together and felt like this would be the best route to go and,
Yeah.
and kind of get kids involved and, get
Yeah.
them.
What about Ingram
going.
kids? We get some Ingram kids involved?
We are going to reach out to
Okay.
Ingram as well.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
so
I know
they
some
can have-
people who might know some people over there, so I
Yeah.
can help you out there.
Yeah, William Todd has been helping us a lot with
He's
this program
the
as well.
the assistant city attorney.
That is correct, yes, sir.
He handles all the stuff that you have to put up with him a lot, right? Yeah. What does the municipal court do, and how do we increase your revenue? We need to. You're getting a new courtroom. You got to pay for it somehow, right?
Yes. However, that's not what we're about.
Okay.
Yeah, don't commit more crime.
Don't commit more crime.
Don't.
So the court handles Class C misdemeanors, mainly traffic violations.
Yeah.
We do see state law violations as well, like public intoxication.
Yeah. There's a lot of
possession
that
of
here.
drug paraphernalia.
Yeah. A lot of
yes,
that
sir,
here.
Theft.
Yeah. Not as much, but a lot of drug.
Right.
Yeah.
Also, code enforcement. We handle truancy cases as well.
Oh, nice.
So, all the Class C misdemeanors within the city.
Is there still a
what we
truancy
handle.
officer, or is that handled by the police? Is that how that?
It is not.
Yeah.
We get the school representative that brings over that.
What
that-
in the hell is that awful music?
I don't know, but I feel like I was like, are we at a carnival?
Can you
and then I thought it was you.
Can you press the next on that one? I mean, good
Sure, I'll
Lord.
go figure that out.
Figure that out. It's just awful.
And how many cases on average do you typically do a year?
Typically, this past year we did about 4,500 cases.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Holy smokes.
And then there's been years prior that we've done double that. so.
4,500 cases.
Yeah, that number blew me away when we had kind of talked about it, because it's like, man, it's a municipal court, and we're 25,000 population, but a lot of people don't know. I mean, even though we're 25,000, we're the county seat, so we have a service population of much higher.
Right.
But yeah, when I heard that number, I was blown away.
You have a lot of delinquents coming in here through like Junction. They probably speed through here, don't they? Get caught. Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you guys excited about going into the new court?
We are.
Yeah.
We are very excited.
How awful is the current courthouse?
It's all right.
That's
We've
their
made
home.
it work.
Don't talk about it. Their home.
You made it work?
We made it work. Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you, Leslie. What happened to it? Did you just kill it?
She smashed it.
Just smashed it? That was tremendously. That was traumatizing me.
It was interesting.
Yeah.
I literally thought it was you. I thought you had this is the background music. We're going to talk about municipal court.
I am a jerk.
Like, what a choice.
Look, I am a jerk. If I can hear the music through, the headphones, that means that the Facebook and YouTube overlords can hear it too. So it means that they're gonna ding us. Yeah, because the courtroom is going to be significantly larger, nicer facility, probably better air conditioning, so it'll be a different thing. They handle 4,500 cases a year, Leslie.
I believe it.
That's incredible.
A lot of people live here.
Yeah,
they mess up sometimes.
How'd you get time off to do this show? I mean,
criminal. They have the high school kids running things.
Right.
It's part of the program.
You see, how long have you been with the city?
I've been with the city for 12 years, over 12 years.
All in the court?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And how has that been?
It's been great. I love it.
Who was it? It was McGuire was the guy before, right?
Judge McGuire and Judge Kraslovsky.
Okay, how were they?
They're good.
They're good?
Judge McGuire is now district judge.
District judge, right. Was he well behaved, basically, in court?
He was.
Okay.
They were both very good.
His wife works over with Leslie, and she's not well behaved at all. Holy
Kara
smokes.
is delightful.
She's also tough. So this program, though, 17 kids are involved. We need some more, though.
Brenda just said 4,400 of those cases were her grandkids. That's very funny.
Yeah, absolutely. You got some support from the city council here. How is it? So it's always been that busy, though. You said 45. I mean, that would be a normal.
It's been
year.
busier. Actually, that's kind of slow for us.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. And so this is one thing people forget, that you guys kind of exist sometimes, but you play such a vital role.
That is correct.
Yeah. Right.
And not too many people are excited to see us. And,
No.
and we completely get that.
I don't know. Every time I've been in there, y'all been very lovely.
No, her and her team, if you mess up, go and talk to them. They're there to help you out. They're the ones. They're the intermediary.
They're all
the ones,
nice.
Yes,
absolutely.
They're the customer service aspect of it with her and her team are there to help provide resolution.
Yeah.
And so that was what the teen court is about. That's what the whole point of municipal court is. And so if you mess up, just go in.
You have to talk to them.
Talk to them.
There's a solution, but you got to deal with it.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Just come in and talk to us.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you get a warrant.
Know from experience.
Listen, there's a different time.
I gotta tell you, I got a speeding ticket one time in Liberty Hill, Texas, and I was so angry about it because I got hit going 70 and a 60, and I was behind the guy who was going faster than me, and I got the ticket.
Oh.
And then I didn't understand.
So you were trying to rat out the other guy?
I was like, wait a minute, why am I getting pulled over? Why you pull that guy over?
Yeah, I was following him. He was going faster than me.
Yeah, I was behind him.
Yeah.
I'm going with this. Anyway, but I was so confused by the whole process.
Mm-hmm.
It was a little different, Like I thought if I just paid my fine, that it wouldn't count. And then they're like, "Oh no, you're it counts on your record." Ha ha. I'm like,
That's
"Whoa,
Texas for you.
Yeah.
wait a minute here."
Louisiana, they do that where you just pay your stuff. It's a part of their revenue stream, and then you move on. It's not on your record.
Well, yeah. If I just paid it, I thought if I just paid it, wouldn't be on my record. But I had to do some kind of contesting of it in order to not go on my record. I was like, what? I just want to pay this and be done with it. Do we do that here? How do we do that? If I get a speeding ticket,
You can pay it and be done with it.
Yeah.
You can also take the driving safety course if you're eligible for
yeah.
that.
But they had
And
some
so-
deal where it wasn't clear to me that if I just paid it, like I didn't understand, like I didn't understand the check boxes. It was very confusing.
You didn't have Yesenia there.
Yeah, that's right. They didn't have Yesenia there, and I did call the court coordinator, and she's like, "Too bad, you're out of luck." I'm like, okay, whatever. I guess I can afford it this time, but yeah,
that doesn't happen at our court. No. Call them if you have an issue.
Yes, yes. And you have options. You can take your case to trial if you.
That's stupid. That's a waste of time. It really is. I tried to fight a speeding ticket once, and it was just it was so stupid and so I was such stupid for even doing it. I didn't know why I even bother. I should have just accepted it, but I was so upset about the speeding ticket.
The one that you got that you the other guy should have got?
No. Different one. Different time. Oh, I've gotten a few. Let me tell you. Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the experience, right? I'm not going to fight it because it's a waste of time, At the end of the day, they're gonna have the radar on you. You probably were speeding, But I mean, to me, the experience was I was confused by the language in it. It's like, well, I should be able to take a driver's course if I pay the fine, and they said, oh no, you have to pay less to get the course. And I was like, what? That makes no sense. Why would I pay less?
So you're only paying court costs. If it happened here in Texas anyway, you pay the court cost, and you pay for the driving safety class.
Yeah. See, in California, you have to pay the full costs, and then you have to pay the driving safety costs. Right? There's no deal. It's just awful.
And yet you still speed.
Well, he gets a discount now if he does the driver safety stuff.
Hey, since I went to the minivan, never again.
Smooth cruising.
It's
so nice in there.
It basically says you will not drive over 35.
It's a minivan.
It's a minivan.
That's the child safety feature.
Right. I love the fact that the minivan tells me every morning that there's like, check the back seats for missing children. I'm not kidding, Leslie.
I know. It's just my sister-in-law has the same minivan.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. All right, so we move into the new building. That's going to be exciting. I'm excited for you guys as well. And your office is over there on Barnett?
No, we're on McFarland.
Okay, all right.
301 McFarland.
Try to stay out of there if at all possible. But if you get yourself into some kind of trouble, then you're going to do.
Yeah, just come.
They're lovely.
Do you ever keep any stats on how often someone beats a speeding ticket? Does that ever happen?
Yeah, they keep a tally mark.
Yeah. I mean, what is like a 1% chance you might beat a speeding ticket?
And they place bets internally in the office.
Yeah.
Start doing punch cards if you beat
Just
them.
kidding. They don't do that.
That'd be the best. All right. Thanks, you guys, for being here. I appreciate it very much.
Thank you.
Thank you,
All right,
Yesenia.
thanks a lot. Waiting patiently, Isaac Dingler has been here for hours. That's a cool. Isaac, how are you?
I'm doing good. How about you?
Good to see
Doing
you.
good. How's our favorite bird shop owner doing?
Oh, they're doing great.
What's he
Kevin
been
and
up to?
Linda are doing fantastic.
Yeah.
They're just running the store and
Selling bird stuff.
yeah.
Talking about birds.
But we're not here to talk about birds. We're here to talk about this thing. What's going on with this mini bike thing? What's this about?
Just another one of my random hobbies that I kind of
just picked up along the way.
I was thinking about this yesterday, and I was like, Isaac races mini bikes. What does that mean exactly?
Well, Isaac will be having his first mini bike race.
He hasn't done. I'm working on it.
Yeah, I've been I got my first motorcycle when I was 7, a little dirt bike, and I've just been riding ever since. Got out of it for a long time, and then mini bikes they fit the budget, so to speak.
Yeah.
And so it's a lot of fun. Me and my friend Chris, we can't ever get a hobby without dragging the other one into it.
Oh, nice.
And, it's always more fun to play with friends. And so now we are constantly in a competition to see who can make the fastest little mini bike.
So, did you make this bike or did you buy this bike?
The frame, the engine was all done by me.
Okay.
You start with a base engine and pull everything out and then start changing everything just like you would with a hot rod, except on a much smaller scale.
Right. Do you? What is the race? What is the sport?
So this is put on by a company up in Keller, Texas called Go Power Sports. They specialize in mini bike, motors, go karts, just power sports, things like that. And for the past 4 years, they've done an off-road endurance race for mini bikes.
Oh, okay.
3 hours nonstop. See who can
Holy
do the most
smokes.
laps.
Wait a minute. Here,
That's insane. 3 hours?
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Now
yeah.
you can do multiple riders on the same bike. That way you're not having
Staying
to do
fresh.
the entire thing.
Yeah.
Both me and my friend Chris are going to be going up there to do it.
Yeah.
So you're competing against each other.
Yes and no. They've got two different divisions. They've got a full suspension division and then a hardtail division. He'll be riding full suspension. I'll be riding hardtail.
Oh, okay.
What does a hardtail mean? What does that mean?
No
exactly?
rear suspension. So you'll have the front forks that have the suspension.
Does that mean
but
your
then-
butt's going to be really sore? What does that mean exactly?
Yes. I'm basically going to be standing on the pegs like a jockey the whole time.
Oh my
Oh,
gosh.
fun. You're going to be tired.
You're going to be so tired.
Yeah.
But this looks like a hell of a lot of fun, though.
It is. I watched the video from the previous years, and it just looks like a blast. I was kind of worried. I'm like, I got called middle-aged recently, and I didn't find that term fun. But then I was like, well, I mean, I'm 41. I guess that's probably correct.
I know. You do at some point have to go, God, they got a point.
It actually is.
And so I'm looking, and I'm like, I'm thinking about doing this crazy race, and I look at all the other competitors from the previous years, and I'm like, oh, it's just a bunch of guys my age, too. It's fine.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. This is great.
But, just a fun way to get out there and have some fun,
So it's an off-road race, right? And how long is the course? Like how many miles?
They redesigned the whole course and moved it this year, so I don't know how big the track is going to be.
Okay.
In previous years, I want to say it was like 2-mile track.
Wow.
Yeah. Uphill, downhill, turn, switchback.
And it's like a 3-hour course.
Yeah.
I'm just watching the video you sent me, and I can't get it up here online yet. But this looks like a hell of a lot of fun, Isaac.
Yeah, just the start of the race is amazing. I mean,
Yeah.
you stand on one side of the track, everybody's bikes are on the other.
Yeah.
They do the starting shot, you run over, crank it up, and then everybody goes at the same time. And so in the first 2 minutes, you'll see like a 15-bike pileup.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
That is fun. That's
Yeah,
great.
my
interesting.
plan is to wait a couple of seconds and then
let
drive
them all,
past the
and then
wrecks. Yeah.
Brenda wants to know do you buy mini bikes?
Do I buy them?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay. Looks like you might be having a business deal.
Send me a call.
Buzzy probably has like 4 or 5 of them.
But yeah,
That's all our grandkids committed all those crimes.
Yeah.
super popular in the 60s and 70s, and then there's a huge resurgence right now. It's
Yeah.
just fun, easy transportation.
Yeah.
And how fast do things go? Like 45 miles an hour?
When you get them, the motors will come governed and stuff like that, and you'll generally get 30 miles an hour out of them. Mine goes 54.
Wow.
Oh, dang. That's a speedy little mini bike.
And it gets there real fast.
I mean, you have to probably do some training on this, right? I mean,
Currently, I'm doing a lot of riding off-road right now.
yeah. Oh, here's the...
Very high speed.
Hey, Brenda says she'll bring it to swap meet, the mini bike.
Okay.
All right. I think the next one's coming up in September.
Okay. Sounds good.
Okay. All right.
yeah.
You might be acquiring a new mini bike.
Yeah.
What do they cost? What do they...
Brand new, depending on which model and stuff like that, you can get them for around $600 or $700.
Right.
I try and find, frames and pieces and parts and just put everything together myself. All in all, my bike right now currently costs about $400 to $500.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So let me show...
I wasn't expecting that number. I was expecting that to be a lot higher.
Let me show you. Here's a look at the...
Brenda says September 7th. Y'all got a mini bike date.
Sounds great.
why does Brent... Did she say why she has one?
She didn't explain why.
Yeah.
Do we need to ask why?
Yeah.
Everybody needs a mini bike.
By the way, here's a look at this. I got it kind of up and running. This is the dude's. So there's mini bikes, and then they're gonna run over here. They're gonna do some stuff. But what a cool thing! Now, what happens though, Isaac, if you're riding the bike and there's like a warbler, like you see it? Do you stop? And do you report it? I mean, what happens with like...
That's my biggest fear. Like, I've been up there, I went to an event, and half the time I'm looking at the bikes that everybody brought. The other half the time I'm like, ooh, a new bird.
A new bird, yeah,
And so
exactly.
I'll be
So if you're
whipping around
competing
the
against
corner.
Isaac in a mini bike race, bring a bird.
Just throw a bird in your pocket, throw it up in the air. Ooh.
Ooh, ooh, ooh.
Yo. You'll get over on him like that.
I was thinking we hadn't had you on the show for a while because I get busy and I forget you need to be on the show all the time.
In the heat of the summer, I don't do a whole lot of birding.
But
nesting season, we've got all of our birds here.
That doesn't mean that we can't do. We just need to do a week. We need to put you on a schedule like we do with the.
Yes, you have a segment.
Yeah, just from the store. Even if we were from the store.
You're the bird correspondent.
Yeah, bird correspondent. Like in front of your board. That's what we could do in front of the board.
Absolutely.
But after the rainfall, what happened? Did the birds like all drown? I mean, look, that got crashed. Oh my God. Oh, look at that.
And then he gets run over.
Wait a minute. Okay, so what happened with the with that storm though? Did that do any damage to bird habitat or anything like that? Or
yes, anytime you get heavy rains, high winds, stuff like that, and we got an incredible amount of rain, it does have a tendency to dislodge nests and create havoc for a lot of the birds.
Yeah.
We didn't have like intense winds like we normally do. So we didn't have a lot of broken branches and things like that.
Yeah.
Any of the ground nesting birds, probably lost a lot during that. I've got a creek that runs through my backyard. It was from the bottom of the creek to where my yard is 10 feet. It was up to the top and then a rushing river in my yard.
Yeah.
So that does bring a lot of devastation to the nesting birds. We're at the end of nesting season, so we're seeing a bit of a slowdown with the birds.
Right.
They're not taking care of as many babies and things like that. We've got hummingbirds migrating. The hummingbirds that were nesting here in the summer that we were all feeding and we had everywhere, they've already moved down to the coast and they're getting replaced by the ones north of us that are popping through. So it's going to be, ebb and flow. You're going to have 15 hummingbirds one day. The next day you'll have 2. And it'll be like that until Halloween. That's normally when we see them passing through. But we've got good reports of rufous hummingbirds already, which typically happens in August. They're our little orange one from the mountainous areas. And then we've got a lot of good reports of ruby throats, especially out at Kevin and Linda's house. They're getting overrun with ruby throats right now.
Right. Does Kevin ever think to himself, I got too many birds to deal with here, or is he just never, is he always he's never invited me out.
I don't think that exists.
He's never invited me out to his facility, so I don't really know what his facility. So
to his bird compound.
His bird compound.
Kevin hoards birds like I hoard tools, man.
Yeah.
Like he's got. I mean, at any given moment during nesting season, between his hummingbird feeders and his seed feeders, he's probably got 25 plus feeders out. I mean, he's got the birds.
He doesn't mess around.
And his magnet for everything is that stream that he built.
Yeah.
It's like a 15-foot long recirculating stream. Bubbles, rolls down, has little pockets, little small pools, gets tons of birds in there that just don't come to the feeders.
That's so great.
I got a project in my head, Kevin. By the way. I'm gonna have
to dip out on you because I have to go read at Sprouts.
All right,
I got to go read The Grumpy Monkey.
All right, what time is that?
So at 10:30. So I got to start heading that way.
We're almost there. Almost done.
Are we?
We're almost done. Okay.
Look, I didn't want to cut Isaac's short. I think this is important.
Look at this. This is awesome. Okay, so this race is when? When is this race?
This is November 9th.
And it's up and where? Where's it at again?
Grayford.
Where the hell's that?
By Possum Kingdom Lake.
Where's that?
West of Fort Worth.
West of Fort Worth. DFW area. Is it? So it's 3 hours though.
3 hours.
Are you? Like I said, are you training for this? Because that's some endurance being on a bike for 3 hours.
With no rear suspension.
Yeah.
Yes. And best way to train is without a bike with suspension. Luckily, that's the one I have.
And lots of squats.
Oh, that's because you're gonna have to stand the whole time.
Stand, sit. It just depends on the part of the track.
Right.
But getting accustomed to it, knowing how it runs underneath, off-road, on-road.
If something breaks, are you gonna be able to fix it
yes.
on scene? Okay.
There's very few things, there's very few things that are likely to happen. You're going to throw a belt off, you're going to pop a link on a chain, or your carburetor's going to come out of adjustment, or bolts are going to.
I kind of want to go with you.
I've got a full, tiny little toolkit that sits on the front of my motorcycle where the headlight should be.
Yeah.
I'm going to have all the extra parts that I think I need. I'm trying to find some friends that want to go up there and act as pit crew.
I don't want to be your pit crew. I just want to be your photographer.
Well, come up, man.
All right, man. maybe Pillow and I can come up together. It's football Friday night the night before though, because you have to kind of come up that night. So it looks awesome though. What if it rains though? Is it you just running it? That'd be mud bogging it.
Yeah.
That looks great. We could do that kind of race here almost.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, when I first saw this,
Yeah.
I was like, dude, that could be anywhere in Kerr County. I mean, it's
Absolutely.
same look, that Central Texas hill country look. And
We have actually better hills, though.
Oh, yeah.
We could kill some people with our hills. So, absolutely. All right, Isaac. Good job.
All right.
All
Thanks
right.
for having me.
Thank you, Isaac. Good luck.
All right.
I'm sure we'll see you before this.
Yes, absolutely. Go back to work now. We'll talk to you later, all right? Leslie, what'd you learn today?
Isaac custom built mini bikes. That was the breaking story for me.
And Brenda Hughes wants to get rid of all Buzzy's shit.
Well, we already knew that.
Yeah.
That's really not surprising.
All right. Yeah, that was kind of fun, huh? That was a great show today. My goodness. Yesenia
What a
is
delightful day. Yesenia is. I've known her for a long time.
Have you?
So she's delightful.
Because she's probably had to process a lot of your stuff.
That was
huh?
before she worked at the municipal court.
Okay.
We worked together at Bath and Body Works many moons ago.
Oh. Now, could you imagine, by the way, if Bob Reeves ran Bath and Body Works, it'd be done right.
It would.
It'd be done right.
I'd still work there.
Still work there. Yeah. If Bob Reeves ran things, he's so smooth. All right. Are you going to be on the show tomorrow?
I mean, I might. Julie can't be here.
Julie can't be here.
I mean, I'm on vacation, but I can do whatever.
Yeah. I heard you were supposed to not be here.
I know, but I did it anyway. I like coming and doing this.
I know.
It's part of my routine now.
Tomorrow we'll have Amy Goodyear on the show. She showed up today.
Delightful. She's going to come talk about the show?
Right. Yeah, I thought I was supposed to have another guest today, too, but I don't know what happened.
You ran out of time, so I guess it worked out.
All right. We got things to do. So, all right, everybody. Leslie, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
We'll talk to you.
See you later.
Maybe tomorrow.
You got it.
All right, everybody. Thanks to Peterson Health. Thanks to all of our great sponsors here on the lead. We will talk to you guys again tomorrow. Have a great rest of your day.
No holding back, no stepping stones, no broken promises, no busy tones. Just what it takes, just make believe. No one belongs.